But again, anything, call me, text me, I do, something like this Cal's one, I would have told you a year ago how to do this. I've been waiting for somebody to do that, because thank God nobody's got hurt there. The other thing I don't understand downtown is the dollar store in Linford.
I'm with you.
Don't show them the sidewalks. They get thousands and thousands of dollars worth of fines, they kept paying the fines. I'm like, wouldn't you send somebody out to shovel?
Mm.
And they kept paying them. Keep finding them.
When I say thousands, I'm talking thousands.
Finding them. Keep finding them.
Does your department do the fines for not shoveling?
No, ISD does, and then we do the
Cal's is
collections.
53. Cal's is 53.
What's the bakery?
The bakery is 418.
Does anybody know the bakery name?
Washington Street.
What?
Supreme? Yeah.
It used to be Supreme, is it, maybe it is Supreme still?
418 Washington Street.
Which makes sense, yeah.
Change right here.
So,
Washington.
47,
Washington.
14 Washington.
The bakery is.
So it merges.
Yeah, it legitimately, that's the first Washington Street.
But that.
Cross.
So it goes from even, it goes from odd,
Yeah.
odd to
What
even.
number Washington is it?
14.
14, but it's
Yeah, no,
47 Central Ave.
Yes, no, that is correct. The house next
No,
to
it's
it, 912.
They don't pull weeds, they don't do anything.
Washington.
418.
Of course, the Indians want to.
418 Washington.
Okay.
But it is definitely, that is definitely an even number.
So it's
Attach a Google map.
2418.
So 47, 53, 47 is that central, 53 is Cal's, bakery is 418, Washington.
418.
418 Washington. Yeah.
And actually, for a couple other, well, I got the group down here, I do have some summer kids right now. Our budget was devastated. They took away a third of our budget. My office itself, I had Jay, who was retired. I had Mary, the secretary, who retired. I had Linda. I'm down to, one of my girls just went out on a major health issue. I'm down to one girl and myself, and we just hired one. But call anytime. I do have summer kids downtown now, doing our lots. If there's an area downtown that's a problem, let us know, and I can send the kids over there. Because whether it's a lot or downtown someplace else, let us know if there's a place with trash. If you know who's generating the trash, we found out about the dollar store on Andrew Street generating a lot of trash. We're chasing them right now. ISD is very, very helpful with this.
Well, yes, a lot of our storefront churches take their trash out Sunday night and just leave it on top of or next to the city receptacles.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, I've seen that for the place next door to here, I regularly see them do that.
But if you see people like throwing it in a certain area, you know it's a certain house, let us know. Because I'll tell you, the kids, I was with them, they cleaned Andrew Street, Buffalo, a bunch of them the other day, and he says, like, the guy just got out of his car, he dumped this stuff out of the car and walked into the...
You see that all the time.
It's so disparaging that when you sit there, you're trying to do the right thing, and they just don't...
It's a thing we're actually trying to work on downtown, like actually just got started, Soraya, Casey from Next Forward, she started like a grassroots beautification downtown movement. And she got help from the DPW to loan equipment, and actually I think Terry was one of the volunteers that afternoon, but they went and they did a sweep of trash, they cleaned up some of the tree beds, and eventually, you know, we're trying to,
You gotta catch the people doing it.
right, and my whole thing is, if people see an area that's dirty and unkempt, they're gonna treat it as, they're gonna be more apt to treat it as such if they see an area that's nice, and if they see a nice trash receptacle. But I see somebody get out of their car, put their cup down, and the trash are closer than being, you know.
The other thing I'd like to see is, which I don't want to hurt businesses, but if you're at Dunkin' Donuts, variety store or something, they should have to clean so many feet in each direction. More people come out of a variety store, they scratch their tickets, and they're walking down the street, throwing them on the street.
And I do see some of the businesses downtown doing that, you know.
Well, Dunkin' Donuts, we have customers who park right in front of my building or the back building. They throw their gold cups down on the pavement and walk in and get their new ones. They take the straw or wrapper and throw it out their window as they drive off.
I carry
Right in
things
front of
around
me.
if I'm out someplace, because you'd never think to throw it on the ground. I don't know where people get it from.
Now you have the two trash receptacles, one right in front of my building or one right on the corner.
I think it's a cultural thing.
It's not an excuse.
Well, I know, but, you're right.
If you shame them.
Yeah,
It might help.
I've been thinking about this too. I'm just gonna start taking their pictures and posting them online.
If you
Public
actually,
embarrassment is the best.
if you actually get a picture of somebody doing it and their plate, the police department will actually chase them. With our ways, we can actually give them a ticket. Actually, we caught somebody dumping across from Cal's, the elderly building, and we fined them quite hefty. And the elderly were losing their money for their things to clean it up. We actually, the hearing was before me, I made them pay restitution to them. And so the elderly got back the money, and then I put the fine on the city also.
So, and also still have storefront churches, I know two of them that do a lot of food, and they sometimes meet on Saturday evenings as well. And then the trash will be full, so they put the food on the ground, not in a garbage bag, and so you have rats coming, or the seagulls coming.
If you can get that to either us, we will have somebody go out and they'll tag them. Enough tickets, and again, we're not in for the revenue, it's to stop it from happening.
Yeah, so if I could just make a couple comments about enforcement of the trash ordinance and the sanitary code downtown and really citywide. There are a plethora of ways to get in touch with the inspectional division. My inspectors on a daily basis have daily routes that they're following and observing. Basically, they trail behind the trash pickup that the DPW or that is done in the community. But they all have daily routes that they're heading out to. But any complaints, any particular addresses where you see something. You can call me directly, you can email me directly. I know Mike and Seth both have my email address. There is an online portal that is available through the city website that will ultimately get brought to my attention. We'll send out an inspector. You can call the main line for the switchboard, and that will also get to my attention. So, there are a million different ways to let the inspectional division know about things that are happening in the downtown area and the community at large. One thing that I would caution you all on, not so much caution, but I hear frequently, we call the inspectional division or we had to call multiple times to get something done. So just so everyone is aware, the inspectional division is primarily a coercive enforcement wing of city government, by which I mean, if you complain about 123 Main Street, I send an inspector down to confirm or disconfirm that complaint. If the complaint is confirmed, the next step that the city takes is to issue a fine to the property owner to incentivize that property owner to do what they ought to do and clean that matter up. The city inspectors do not personally pick up trash, move items, or we're not going out to actually remedy the problem physically. So you may see that whatever item it is that you're complaining about is still there 96 hours later. That is not to say that the city has not now issued 4 fines of successive increasing amounts over the course of those 96 hours. But I do appreciate that the reason for the call may still in fact be visible to you 4 days later.
Thanks for getting rid of that donation box. That was a nightmare. Is that what did you guys get rid of that thing?
We did ultimately. I, in fact, personally had a discussion with the store manager where I explained to that individual who was trying to tell me that it's not really our problem. We let them come in here, but it's not our stuff and whatever. And I said, well, as a matter of fact, as the owner of the property, it is in fact your problem. You can either end that relationship and then you won't have issues with things that are being left next to it, or you are in fact responsible for the things left.
So are you also the person that, like, for example, on the other side of Shaw's is that giant trash compactor that all summer long leaks stinky fluid? The one that goes onto Pleasant Street? Would your services be the ones we complain to about this?
The smell.
There's a very large trash compactor on that.
Ultimately, the inspectional division is responsible for the enforcement of all applicable codes and
Okay.
ordinances. So the state sanitary code, the building code, the electrical code, the food code, regulations relative to dust and odor, air pollution standards adopted by the Department of Environmental Protection. All of these things fall within the purview of the inspectional division.
And every ticket that they write, they either pay it or I have to hear it. So if anybody thinks they get a horrible job, I listen to all the hearing complaints all day long. I'm trying to do Mary Wright's job, Jay Fair's job, and my job. I'm trying to, right now, my office is devastated because I'm down to one person and a trainee. It's just, believe me, I don't have 2 minutes a day, and I also have an outside interest. I actually own a business myself, and it's, at night when I get there, I'm exhausted. So,
Is there still a sign ordinance in downtown Lynn?
There is a sign.
I know there was a few years ago, I wasn't sure if it was changed or repealed or, okay.
I think they might have changed the policy and stuff, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, frankly, I do think that there has been a change or a reversion from the ordinance that was specific to the downtown that may have been adopted under the Clancy administration. I don't, off the top of my head, frankly, can't recite to you the signed ordinance. There's certainly an ordinance in place.
Great.
I'll tell you, there's great things. Again, the beacon site's being developed, there's 333, I think units. We just approved that a little while through site plan review. Down the end, your Dortmund McGrath thing, there's gonna be something there. Charlie has his thing over in the gear plant, he has a couple of people, it's gonna be a little ways down the road. There's gonna actually be a train stop right at that spot, hopefully, we're working on. There's a lot of beautiful things, the waterfront is really coming quite a ways. We have a lot of other things trying to go on down here, but unfortunately, too, part of the problem is, some of these things are years away, businesses still have to make money in the meantime.
Can't come that far if the annual label is the ugliest city, ugliest street in USA.
I know.
But it's, you know, people.
I know, it's
So, just really quickly, just, in regards to, you know, we understand that you have like a summer job program, and you have people that are needing the community service, like come out and cleaning the lots, cleaning the areas.
We don't usually do the community service as
Okay.
much anymore, because we had some, people call up and complain, they're worried about that.
So if we
clients
have-
out in the lots.
If we have issues with with the lots or street cleaning, is that ultimately you, or is that Clint's division, or is that?
Community development, does some downtown in the streets. I have kids too, if there's a problem someplace, you can call us.
So
and
what happens, like, not, like, during, like, you have all these kids for the summertime, but on the non-summer months, we don't have these kids volunteer for the job program, who's ultimately responsible for
I
it?
used to have somebody, but unfortunately that budget was devastated. I'm kind of hoping to talk to the Off-Street Parking Commission about hiring somebody for that. My budget, was drastically cut.
Because, yeah, you know, you have these,
I can only do, a matter of fact, I've gone out many times myself, and the kids are out there now, I'm going out with my own car, and I'm picking up bags of trash, putting it in, and the kids are picked up. The DPW does a great job picking it up for us. But the problem is, the DPW goes by and picks up the yellow bags today, so somebody saw them when they come in at 3 o'clock, they said, oh, look at that, the DPW picked them up today. The problem is, the kids are back in every lot tomorrow, so the bags are still there again tomorrow. But those are today's bags,
Right.
not yesterday's. And so a lot of times, people call up and say, well, those bags have been here for 4 weeks, and they never empty them. They're all new bags. They're just yellow, but they're new bags. Because the DPW has an excellent response. If you call them, they go right down, they remove the bag, but the problem is, the kid goes next day, there's another bag.
In general, Mike, I mean, you're always welcome to reach out to me, obviously, and I'll forward the information, but in terms of the specific question, you know, if there's a problem with an off-street lot, I mean, like I said a bit ago, the inspectional division's primary response is coercive, so to answer the question, no, we do not issue citations on city-owned properties to coerce the city to do things. But I'd be happy to forward any concerns that you have to the appropriate department.
any other, anything that's not on the agenda that we haven't covered, that any other comments, questions? No?
about, I mean, we talk a lot about like litter in the city lots, but I'm much more concerned about the sidewalks.
The kids are picking up on sidewalks, they pick up the sidewalk around it too. The problem now is the kids have just started, so there's a lot more to do, they're gonna start the weeding and stuff. But if they're walking from lot to lot, like I told them, it's downtown, it's all the same thing, pick it up, because they said, well, why if we're doing all, I said, but you know what's gonna happen to that piece of paper? These are young kids I'm talking to, so they,
Yeah.
I said, that paper's eventually gonna flow into the lot, tomorrow you're gonna have to pick it up anyhow. So on your way to the next lot, pick it up.
So they are doing streets and sidewalks.
And CD does have some kids down there also doing it, picking up stuff. The problem is, unfortunately, I've gone in and seen the kids right after they cleaned the Angel Street lot. I'll go back at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock at the end of the day, just checking to make sure kids aren't in the lot playing bikes. I'll ride by, buff them, and I'm like, they were just here, there's trash again.
How does Salem keep their streets so clean? I mean, the day after Halloween, you go in and it's like spickety span. There's not a piece of wrapper on the ground. And I'm like, how did this happen? How does it, I don't know, I'm just asking the
I think it's
question.
like civic pride. I mean, I think if everybody's cleaning, the commercial is cleaning, I think.
So you don't think the city's involved in that?
I think city's involved, but I think it's also civic pride, and I think it's individual, we have to be on top of it. I don't know if it's, I don't think it's cultural, I just think that we all have to do it.
Most of us grew up, you would never throw something on the ground.
No, no.
I just can't imagine, and I drive down the street and I grab the plates and I call our ISD, I get the plate, the guy threw this out the window, and it's just
And
amazing.
You get downtown to the wind tunnel, you know, and you get all those trash cans that don't, that when they get empty, so they get empty, and then some stuff might float back out of the truck or back when they put the thing back in, and then you have people dumping things in those that don't fit, or going through them to look for cans and stuff, and more trash comes out when they're looking for the cans. It's like 7 different combinations of things that,
I think the council and the mayor going to the green things did help a lot, because they got lids on them, and so the new trash thing has helped the whole
those are a
thing.
little bit better, I'm talking about, like, so now like, about 3 or 4 years ago, we actually got some trash barrels
Yes,
downtown with lids to help with the wind problem, but it's still,
Yeah, they're not locking, the lids came with padlocks, and the main issue there is, at first it was hard to keep on top of waste management to lock the lids, and then I think everyone just sort of gave up, and they don't lock the lids, so that's part of the problem.
The trash
They do
picking.
empty it, I mean.
They do,
empty it,
yeah.
they are honestly.
But the trash picking is what's causing the other trash to come onto the sidewalk.
But again, feel free to call my office anytime you have any concern. If I can even steer you to the right department, it's,
Thank you.
and please show up to this Cal thing, because the council, to let somebody know maybe when that's gonna be on the agenda, and,
Let's definitely put it on.
because the more people you can get
Yeah,
there.
I'll email the downtown list if you send me the, yeah, I'd be happy to, that'd be great.
Well, I'll submit this week and then it probably won't go on the agenda until August or September. Probably August.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Mike, thanks for organizing.